September 11, 2001, began like any other Tuesday for many people in the United States. Children went to school and adults went to work. The sky was clear and blue in New York City. No one knew that this day would become one of the saddest and most important days in American history. It was the day of the deadliest surprise attack ever on American soil. The events of this day would change the world in many ways. People would remember exactly where they were when they heard the news. This single morning would leave a deep mark on the country. The attacks were carried out by a group called Al-Qaeda. This was a terrorist group led by a man named Osama bin Laden. Terrorists try to create fear to achieve their goals. On this day, 19 Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked 4 airplanes. To hijack a plane means to take control of it by force. The hijackers planned to use these planes as giant missiles. They wanted to crash them into important buildings in the United States. This was a carefully planned attack, meant to cause great harm and spread terror across the nation and the world. The first plane to be hit was American Airlines Flight 11. It took off from Boston, Massachusetts, heading to Los Angeles, California. On board were 76 passengers, 11 crew members, and 5 hijackers. At 8:46 a.m. Eastern Time, the plane crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York City. The World Trade Center was a famous complex of 7 buildings, and its twin towers were among the tallest in the world. The plane hit high up, between the 93rd and 99th floors. Thick black smoke began to pour out of the building. Just a short time later, another plane was in trouble. United Airlines Flight 175 also took off from Boston, and it was also going to Los Angeles. This plane had 51 passengers, 9 crew members, and 5 hijackers. At 9:03 a.m., only 17 minutes after the first crash, Flight 175 crashed into the South Tower of the World Trade Center. It hit lower than the first plane, between the 77th and 85th floors. When the second plane hit, people realized this was not an accident. The United States was under attack. Many people watched in horror on live television. The third attack happened in Arlington, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. American Airlines Flight 77 had taken off from Washington Dulles International Airport. It was headed for Los Angeles. There were 53 passengers, 6 crew members, and 5 hijackers on this flight. At 9:37 a.m., Flight 77 crashed into the Pentagon. The Pentagon is the headquarters of the United States Department of Defense. It is a very large building shaped like a 5-sided polygon. The plane hit the west side of the building, causing a large fire and part of the building to collapse. The fourth hijacked plane was United Airlines Flight 93. It took off from Newark, New Jersey and was also supposed to fly to California, specifically San Francisco. This flight had 33 passengers, 7 crew members and 4 hijackers. It was delayed taking off, so the passengers and crew learned about the other attacks through phone calls. They realized their plane was also part of the terrible plan. The brave passengers and crew decided to fight back against the hijackers. They tried to regain control of the plane. Their struggle caused the plane to crash. At 10:03 a.m., United Airlines Flight 93 crashed into an empty field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. It is believed the hijackers were aiming for another target in Washington, D.C., possibly the U.S. Capitol building or the White House. Because of the actions of the passengers and crew, the plane never reached its intended target. These people became heroes. They saved many lives on the ground by sacrificing their own. Their courage showed the strength of ordinary people in an awful situation. The crash site in Pennsylvania became a place of remembrance. Back in New York City, the 2 towers of the World Trade Center were burning fiercely. Thousands of people were trapped inside, especially on the floors above where the planes had hit. Smoke and heat made it impossible for many to escape. Firefighters and other rescue workers rushed to the scene. They bravely entered the burning buildings, trying to save as many people as they could. The situation was chaotic and dangerous. People on the streets below looked up in disbelief and fear, watching the events unfold in horror. The intense fires inside the Twin Towers weakened their steel structures. The South Tower was hit second, but it was the first to fall. At 9:59 a.m., after burning for about 56 minutes, the South Tower collapsed. It turned into a giant cloud of dust and debris. The sound was deafening. People on the ground ran for their lives to escape the falling wreckage and the thick cloud that covered everything. The collapse was sudden and shocking, even to those who knew the towers were badly damaged. It was a moment of pure terror for everyone nearby. Then, at 10:28 a.m. after burning for 102 minutes, the North Tower also collapsed. It fell in a similar way to the South Tower, sending another massive cloud of dust and debris through lower Manhattan. The iconic New York City skyline was changed forever in just a matter of hours. With both towers gone, the area became known as Ground Zero. The destruction was enormous. Other smaller buildings in the World Trade Center complex were also destroyed or badly damaged when the towers fell. The air was thick with dust and smoke for days. Many brave people rushed to help. Firefighters, police officers, and emergency medical workers were the first responders. Hundreds of them ran into the burning towers to try to rescue people. Many of them did not come out. They risked their own lives to save others. 343 firefighters from the New York City Fire Department died that day. So did 23 New York City Police Department officers and 37 Port Authority Police Department officers. These heroes showed incredible courage and dedication to helping others in the face of unimaginable danger. Thousands of ordinary people also became heroes. They helped each other escape the buildings. They offered comfort and aid to strangers. The city and the whole country saw countless acts of kindness and bravery. People near Ground Zero opened their homes and businesses to those who needed help. Volunteers came from all over to assist with rescue and recovery efforts. The spirit of unity was strong, even in the midst of such terrible tragedy. Everyone wanted to do something to help those affected by the attacks. The attacks on September 11, 2001, caused a terrible loss of life. In total, 2,977 innocent people were killed. This number includes the 2,753 people killed in New York City, the 184 people killed at the Pentagon, and the 40 people killed in Pennsylvania. The victims came from more than 90 different countries, showing that this was a global tragedy. Thousands more were injured, some very badly. The 19 hijackers also died in the attacks. The number of people lost made it the deadliest foreign attack on American soil in the history of the United States. The damage to property was also huge. The World Trade Center complex was completely destroyed. This included not just the Twin Towers but also 7 World Trade Center, which collapsed later in the day, and several other surrounding buildings. The cost of the damage was many billions of dollars. The Pentagon was also severely damaged. The cleanup at Ground Zero in New York took many months. Workers carefully searched for victims and cleared away tons of rubble. The environmental impact from the dust and debris was also a serious concern for a long time. September 11th was a major turning point in American history. The attacks led to big changes in the United States and around the world. The U.S. government created the Department of Homeland Security to better protect the country. Airport security became much stricter with new rules and screening procedures for travelers. The United States, along with its allies, launched the War on Terror. This included military actions in Afghanistan, where Al-Qaeda was based, and later in Iraq. The day showed how vulnerable the nation could be. The events of 9/11 are remembered every year. Memorials have been built at the sites of the attacks in New York City, at the Pentagon, and in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. These memorials honor the victims and the heroes of that day. The attacks brought Americans together in a spirit of unity and patriotism. People showed great resilience and strength in the face of such loss. Remembering 9/11 helps us to never forget the people who died and the lessons learned about courage, sacrifice, and the importance of working for peace in the world.